What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over this past weekend's fight card from Atlantic City, New Jersey, headlined by Jaron Ennis and Eimantas Stanionis. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe? Right now, my statistics are telling me that 80% of you guys who tune in and enjoy my content haven't done that yet. Could you also like this video and go down to the bottom of your screen where you see that bell notification button? Hit that so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. Thanks, guys. Another successful weekend, another successful week of analyzing, going over and predicting the fights. We went undefeated this past weekend with our fight card. We documented 4 fights. So in this video, it's going to be some sort of Monday morning quarterback. We're just going to revise what happened this past weekend, go over our bets, see if you guys listened. Are you listening? I haven't lost a bet in 3 weeks, so we're on a hot streak. We're going to start this video off with the first fight that we documented. Initially, it was going to be Arturo Cardenas versus Cortez, but we know that last second in the 11th hour, the Philadelphia native pulled out an in-step New Jersey product, Edgar Cortez. Before the fight started, my sports bet app still allowed me to take Cardenas to win by knockout. This was my prediction going into the fight. Willingness to stand there and trade, but we know boxing is called boxing and it's not called knockout. So when I think about where I'm putting my money, who I'm taking, I'm gonna go with the favorite. I think Cardenas is gonna be a little bit too much right now at the stage of Cardo's career. I think he's gonna be a bit too much class. His skill set, it's that lead hand, which is the X factor for me. And this is how the fight ended. Edgar Cortez, tricky southpaw, gave Arturo Cardenas all he could handle. Cardenas eventually got him out of there in the 8th and final round with a brutal stoppage. This was a fun fight.
Cortez somehow able to get out. Oh! Cardenas, and that one's gonna do it.
We got off on the right foot. Cardenas took his time, and Cortez was tough initially. The late replacement showed a lot of issues for Cardenas. Cardenas was struggling with the southpaw style. He eventually figured him out, got him out via 8th round stoppage. Hat goes off to Cortez for being a tough opponent and keeping Cardenas on the card. Cardenas is a Garcia product. We know what the RGBA guys always have in terms of a plan of attack. Heavy arsenal to the body, very skilled fighters, pressure first on that lead foot, and they're always fun to watch. Cardenas has a lot of options now at 122 pounds. We know Inoue runs that division, but with another victory, Cardenas has improved his record to 16-0, and he stays on track to get high-level fights. Stay tuned to the channel. I'll be keeping you posted when we get more fight news for Edgar Cardenas. The next fight we covered was at 147 pounds between an Olympian from Uzbekistan, Shakhram Giyasov, taking on a tough and gritty Argentinian fighter named Franco Ocampo. Before the fight started, this was my prediction. Uzbek fighter, those odds are pretty intense, and to knock him out 17-1. So people were saying the odds of him either winning or a long shot and getting a points decision is a long shot. So nobody sees this Argentinian fighter Ocampo going in and beating Giyasov. The bait that I really like when I'm making my prediction, I'm definitely going with the Olympian. I'm taking the guy with the experience, the hype, the undefeated record, the vast skill set. I think he's going to be too much. I think that he's going to see holes in Ocampo's game early on, and he's going to drown him with that body. I think he's going to knock him out. I love the 162. That could add a little bit more juice on your parlay, or if you're a big bettor, some of you guys message me, 10,000 on 162, it could be worth going heavy on the 162. And this is how the fight ended. Shakhram Giyasov improves to 17-0 and becomes the first man to stop Franco Ocampo with a brutal backhand liver shot. Gets him out of there.
Perfectly right there. Those shots right there, those hurt me right now just watching them. You can see the grimace in the face. That's a right hand to the liver. I mean, normally you're
2 for 2 thus far on this card. I felt from my tape study, watching the Argentinian Ocampo, seeing that he did have a nice record, 17-2, never been stopped, but there was no way that you could compare his strength of schedule versus Giyasov. With Giyasov's momentum, his style, his Olympic pedigree, I feel he has world title fights in his future. We'll see what's next at 147, but he keeps on winning. He gets back on track with a knockout, and he looked great in doing so. You got to put his name up there with some of the top contenders now at 147 pounds. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll be keeping you up to date with Shakhram Giyasov. In the co-main event, we had a fight at 130 pounds. It was Raymond Ford's second fight in this weight class, taking on Cleveland, Ohio's Thomas Mattice. This was my prediction. Mattice to win by knockout, 17-1. So Mattice is the underdog, 8-1. If you guys are leaning in on the favorite and see Ford winning in terms of getting more juice for the squeeze, I would take Raymond Ford points or decision rather than the knockout. If you take Raymond Ford money line, like I said, it's only $1.10. But if you take him points or decision and remove the knockout from the equation, that's $1.80. That's almost a 2-1 bet. I actually like that bet. If you guys are Thomas Mattice fans and think that the Cleveland, Ohio native is going to go into Atlantic City and upset the odds, as a knockout artist, 77% career knockout to win ratio, carrying that power late, the naturally bigger guy, I would take him to knock out Raymond Ford rather than just win a decision, considering his statistics. And if he does pull that off, that's 17-1. Now, where I'm going with my money, the smart money in my opinion, I'm going to take Raymond Ford to beat Thomas Mattice. I think that his momentum and his trajectory is putting him right in line to become a 2-division world champion in only his mid-20s. I just see this is probably the more likely thing to happen. Also, I'm not going to take the money line at $1.10. Love Raymond Ford on my parlay to decision. Thomas Mattice at $1.80. And this is how the fight went. What's up, fight fans? Raymond Ford dominates, wins every single round, and gets a unanimous decision victory over Thomas Mattice. Is a world title next for Ford? Maybe Sugar Nunez? In the comments section below, rate Ford's performance, 1 through 10. Let me know. I told you guys all week I was a fan of Mattice. I just felt that Raymond Ford's style, his youth, his aggression, and his trajectory, I just felt like he was going to be too much for Mattice, and that's exactly what happened. He dominated every single round. It was a whitewash. Raymond Ford is a problem at 130 pounds, and this version of him at 130 is a different version than what he was at 126. I like what he's doing with his maturation. I like what he's doing with his skill set. He's becoming more and more aggressive on the offensive side, and what's next for him? A world title fight, Sugar Nunez? When we get news, stay to the channel. I'll keep you guys posted on Raymond Ford. And to finish up on this fight card, we had our main event. We had Ennis, the Philadelphia superstar, taking on the Lithuanian product, the first ever world champion from that country, Eimantas Stanionis. This was my prediction going into the fight. Looking at the odds on Boots' side, it's almost a 50-50 considering the Boots fans are picking him to both beat Stanionis and on the same token picking him to knock Stanionis out. With the Lithuanian, his fans are picking him more likely to win a decision, so to outpace, outpressure, outpoint Boots rather than to knock him out. Now, when I'm thinking about my money, where I want to go with this and my prediction, how do I bet against an undefeated knockout artist with the intangibles as Jaron Ennis? How do I bet against a guy who's physically gifted, has a speed advantage, has the power advantage like Jaron Ennis, who's been more active? With Eimantas Stanionis, this is hands down his biggest step up in competition. He did have a good fight last fight against a gritty opponent, but the guy only had 6 pro fights. With Jaron Ennis, you have to give all of the factors to his side. So I fully expect Jaron Ennis to display his skill set. I think he's gonna dominate the Lithuanian fighter. I think that style, even though it's simple, it can be complex to a lesser fighter, but I think Boots is gonna figure that out. People have to remember, this is a son of a former fighter. This is a son of a coach. Jaron Ennis's probably most underrated game is his fight IQ. Watch how he fights. He reads what his opponent does, and then through that, he uses his high arsenal of skill set to depict what he does. And I think that's exactly what he's gonna do. It should be close early. It should be a fun fight early. I think Boots drowns him. I'm picking Jaron Ennis to knock out the Lithuanian. And this is what happened. I told you guys all week Jaron Ennis was going to stop, brutalize, and walk through Eimantas Stanionis. That's exactly what he did. Won every round, destroyed him, ended up breaking him down to the body. Round comes to an end in the 5th, and Stanionis couldn't continue. Jaron Ennis is a beast, guys. Time to stop sleeping on him. Guys, and all week I was taking heat from left, right, center, front, back from my prediction. I was saying that Jaron Ennis, just watch his tape, watch what he's done, watch his strength of schedule versus Stanionis, was going to be miles ahead of Stanionis. I didn't see anywhere in the fight that Stanionis could win. I felt Stanionis' style was very simple. I felt Jaron Ennis' skill set was too complex, and this is exactly what happened. I'm not going to be a guy and sit here and tell you I told you so. I'm a fan of Stanionis. I'm not going to pile on his loss. It was a tough defeat. Hopefully he could pick himself up and get back to his winning ways. But Jaron Ennis is an animal at 47. He filled out great for that weight class. Glad that it was a unification fight and not just with the IBF rules. This allowed Boots to rehydrate over that 10-pound limit, and you got to see the difference in his performance. He does cut a lot of weight, and it'll be only a matter of time before we see him at 54, but I want to see him fight other champions at 47, specifically the Brian Norman Jr. fight. We'll see if Brian Norman Jr. accepts that fight. You also got Mario Barrios as a champion at 47, but me being the fight fan I am, I'd rather see the Norman Jr. fight versus the Boots Ennis fight. Guys, in the comment section below right now, let me know if you're listening to my bets. Let me know if you're winning money, and if you are, support the channel in any way that you can. Also, stay tuned because we got a lot of fights this coming week. We got 2 fight cards from England, and we got a fight card from the US, headlined by the ladies, undisputed. We got Sweet Poison Seth Fondora's sister, Gabriella, putting the belts on the line. And we also have in the co-main, Cleveland, Ohio knockout artist, Charles Conwell. Stay tuned to the channel. Also, if there's any fights that you see that you want me to feature and showcase, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to do so.